Yeah, that's what you should always let LeVar Burton buy your company. It would have saved
Yeah,
Smosh.
it would
They
it would have saved a lot of aggro in the future. Like it would have been a much better business move, I think.
look, 59th rule of acquisition. Always
It's,
let Geordie LaForge buy your business.
yeah, that's the only bad thing about DS9. There's no Droid LaForge or Data. That would have made it a
Hmm.
perfect season.
Yeah, I think like the data character is sort of filled by Odo in how he doesn't
Yes,
understand humanity.
yeah.
I think
It's
he's the
not quite the
closest.
same, but yeah.
He's the closest you have to an android because there's only really one or two androids in the universe.
Yeah,
In
you don't need. I think there's more. There are other species, other cultures you could explore. You don't need
mm,
like you don't need to like try and copy TNG.
mm. But anyway, oh Tony, it's so spooky this October 31st.
Yeah,
Wait, is it?
spooky
There's that.
Halloween.
There's 31 days in October, right?
Yes,
Okay, thank God. I
correct.
always forget how many they have. So this is definitely recorded on Halloween. It's not recorded a month later on the 15th of November. What are
No,
you?
no, no. Spooky Hall. I've got my spooky animated wallpaper. It must be Halloween.
We got really far behind on Tangerines, and I think we just
Yeah,
finished doing the demo festival. And I was like, all right, Tony, let's catch up a bit because it's a lot easier if you catch up, and then you
yeah.
can.
So we'll only be 2.5 weeks behind once we do this.
Yeah. Anyway, so for Halloween, I think it was last Halloween, the Halloween before, I was complaining, saying I really didn't like Halloween because it got in the way of
Of
Christmas,
Christmas. Yeah.
and I complained for a really long time, and then I got tired of complaining about Halloween. I was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace the spooky spirit, and I'm going to just play a bunch of Halloween games. And this year, I said I think it was like a couple of weeks up until the 1st of November, I said I'm only going to play horror
Yeah.
games. So I'm only going to play spooky like horror games in.
Yeah, I think it's like 11 days like before the end or something. Like it's
Yeah,
like
like
12, 12 days of like full
my
Halloween.
friends are like, "You want to play golf?" And I'm like, "Well, unless it's a Halloween map, I'm not joining."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we can play like Dead by Daylight or something that's got that. I played Scream Fortress as I do every Halloween. I don't have footage of that, but it's Scream Fortress. It's mod TF2 with spooky maps.
Is it,
Um,
is it the same as like the last 2 years, basically?
Basically every Halloween they take a bunch of community-made maps
Okay,
from the
okay.
workshop and a bunch of community-made cosmetics, and then they upload
Right.
them. So you have what's called. I'm talking about Scream Fortress over FOREWARNED Godblade, but for Scream Fortress, the interesting thing is you have
Yeah.
like brand new maps that are really cool, and you get like contracts to play on those maps, and when you complete them, you get a piece of like Halloween gear. So the way
Right, right.
Halloween gear works in TF2 is you can only wear it on Halloween or on a full moon.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so it's like restricted cosmetics that they give away for free, sort of thing.
Right.
Which I don't mind because I play mostly on Halloween. So for Scream
Yes,
Fortress.
that's fair. That's fair. It's very odd. I just let you do what you like whenever you
Mm.
like. But yeah, that's a decision, I guess.
Anyway, so game number one, we're going to talk about Forewarned. Have you ever heard of a game called Phasmophobia, Tony?
It's a small game, I think. Not many people know of it.
Yeah, basically, if you don't know, Phasmophobia is a VR co-op game where you're hunting down a ghost. Forewarned is sort of along those lines where it's a 1 to 4 player co-op survival horror sort of game where you're working together with VR and non-VR players in order to hunt down what is a mummy is like an ancient spirit sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Ancient
like it,
god,
it, it is
Egyptian
it is
gods.
putting like the Egyptian archaeologist like spin on it, which is pretty cool. But there is
Yeah.
different mechanics that do like separate it from Phasmo. Like a lot of people are saying like it's sort of more Phasmo, but it's like it goes different directions than Phasmo
What's the
does, sort of thing.
what's the actor in the Mummy films called? Brendan
Brendan
Fraser.
Fraser.
They should got him in for this game.
Apparently, people on the internet have been saying for years they're rooting for Brendan Fraser, and apparently he's reacted to that. I don't know if that's real.
Oh,
If that's
really?
Brendan Fraser. Let me look
I
this up.
know I know Moist Critical already wanted Brendan Fraser to come back at one point, like a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
The moment I was gonna say though,
We're all rooting for you,
I've
Brendan Fraser. We want you to
yeah,
come
yeah.
back.
I obviously have like I've watched you and some other people play this already. And, like honestly, like if you didn't tell me this wasn't Phasmo, like you could have fooled me and went, yeah, this is like a new expansion for Phasmo. I'm like, oh okay,
I did also play the new Phasmophobia update, but I don't have footage of it, so maybe I'll talk
okay. I
about it
don't
after this.
what was different about it.
The update.
Yeah,
I'll tell you after this because we should talk about FOREWARNED first. I
okay,
feel like.
okay.
So it's pretty similar. So instead of having a van, you come to a tent and you download information, and there's different phenomenon you have to observe in order to see if the ghost or the I can't remember what they're called. It's called like the Magi or something like that. Basically, they're mummies sort of thing, and they
Yeah,
exist in like the spiritual world
demigods or gods,
until they start
spirits.
hunting you, and in which case it gets very unlike Phasmophobia, where there's lots of stuff happening. Um, One thing I love lighting candles and walking around with a lit candle in Phasmophobia, so I do appreciate the fact that you can light a torch and walk around with that. It's very
Oh, you
atmospheric.
switch hands as well.
This is me playing the tutorial. I did also get footage of me playing non-VR with some friends to show you what the non-VR version's like as well.
I assume VR is better.
Yeah, I prefer VR in terms of because it's just more atmospheric sort of thing.
Yeah, the immersion like level that really helps with the
Mm.
yeah, just being like yeah, I guess like if you like start screaming and stuff, like you actually have to like move yourself, right? So
Where when the fucking one of the signs, like for example, one of the signs of um the the Magi is reanimation. So there's actually sarcophaguses around, and if you open them, there could be mummies in them, and they can actually reanimate and come to life and start chasing after you, which is something that wouldn't happen in a game like Phasmo. Phasmo is
so
pretty much a one ghost thing where it's
oh
just
right.
the ghost and then there's nothing else that happens. But
This,
there's
this is the thing where like you go back to like a sarcophagus and it's like oh wait it's been opened that wasn't open last
mm,
time so oh you're just gonna open them yourself.
I feel like I climb inside and shut the door and I'm like, it's comfy in here. Yeah, I feel like that's what I do. I'm like, yeah, it's comfy in here. I
Yeah,
don't know,
this
like
is
I used to.
that's how you wanna live.
That's the thing with like spooky horror games is I used to be like I would say years ago I wouldn't touch a horror game, but
Right.
here I am playing a single player VR horror game by myself, just no one else around
Yeah,
me.
there was a time you said like I'd never play a VR
Yeah,
horror game.
it's interesting. I've done like a 180 as I've like slowly exposed it to myself. So
Oh,
that's a sign of that's like a ghost evidence blowing out torches when you're
it's
near them.
kind of scary as well because like it is pitch black in there.
Yeah, you can't. I couldn't see a fucking thing. There's lots of there's like radioactivity. You can get a Geiger counter. There's magnetism. So if you take like a compass in, it'll start spinning like crazy if that's the evidence.
Right, right.
Um, some of the cool things are it's a fucking temple, so there's like traps everywhere. There's like axes that come out of walls. There's like crushing
Yeah,
walls,
booby traps,
mm, which I thought
which are
were
real things that were in the pyramids, by the way. Like they
they
were
really
trying
had
to.
booby traps. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
they generally wanted it's like if someone actually managed to get through them, like it would try and kill them.
Mm.
Like not as like not what the films kind of had, but like things that like doors that like try and close in on itself once you like opened it once or something. Like they never meant to be opened.
So
That's the thing.
some like Phasmophobia like games, they'll do the thing where they'll put a spell on it, like, and you get to fight the ghost after you find it. But this is still like quite true to Phasmo, where you're just sort of trying to identify the ghost and then leave, sort of thing. Whereas I think there's like Ghost Hunter Corp or something like that, where you try and like Ghostbuster the shit out of the ghost.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I personally like the idea of ghost busting, but
so
I'm a
with
big
this one,
Ghostbusters
there's
fan.
basically a red door, and behind this red door is a relic you're looking for, and the only way to
Right.
get to the relic is by figuring out what the ghost is and then inputting its name into it. So sort of the only way you can um, get out is by entering the name of the ghost, sort of thing. Because as soon as you do that, the hunt starts. As soon as you enter the name. Also, you see a bonus objective there. There's like gold around you can find. There's other stuff you can find around temples. It's good to explore for.
The heartbeat mean you're getting close to something?
Yeah, the heartbeat is basically the like proximity center for the ghost. But playing on the tutorial, the ghost will never hunt you until you enter the code and start the hunt, sort of thing. It goes into the different difficulties. I think on easy, it takes like 15-20 minutes until the ghost starts hunting you, and then I think like on the harder difficulty, it takes like 5 minutes before you start hunting and chasing after you.
Oh.
So yeah, you input the name of the ghost once you find it, and then you go into this room where you need to grab a relic, but grabbing the relic activates the ghost hunt, so it shuts the door you came into the temple with, and then you have to run around the temple looking for the like a blue door, like a blue switch sort of thing, and then you pull on that, and then that opens the door, and then you can escape with the relic and take it back to your car.
So the maps are randomly generated, right?
Yeah, and they're also different sizes. So this was like, the tutorial is a small one, but me and a friend in non-VR and another friend in VR, we tried a large map, and it was really big. Like, you can get like really big maps, and you can completely get lost in temples. There's these like huge elaborate rooms you can go into in this game, so it's like really cool. Another cool thing about this one is in Phasmo, when you die, basically you lose all your equipment money and stuff like that. This has the same like. Well, I think it's sort of different. When Phasmo, you buy equipment and then you take it in, and then if you die, you lose your equipment. And this one, I think you more upgrade your equipment, like permanent upgrades, which I'm sort of more of a fan with for overall progression. But then, I mean, dying's a lot less important if it's like a permanent upgrade. I'm not 100% sure because I've only played like about 2.5 hours of this sort of thing, so I haven't played like crazy amounts. But the interesting thing is, in Phasmo, when you die, you can throw around. When you're a ghost, you cannot interact with any of the other players, and you can throw around plates and stuff like a poltergeist, but you can't do anything else. Whereas in this game, when you die, you're giving a choice. You can either come back as a helpful spirit and basically try and guide the players on where they're supposed to be going, or what I've always wanted to do in Phasmo is you can come back as a reanimated mummy and start attacking the surviving players. Cool. So you have a choice whether to be like helpful or a dick. Basically, that's the that's the choice you get.
Sure, you choose the mummy every time.
Yeah, you always choose the mummy. It's the way to go.
No, that is cool. Like, I feel like that's quite nice. Like switching sides when you die.
A melt detector on my compass.
Yeah, but it's very Phasmophobia like, right? Just like with a different spin, some different mechanics, but I don't know, I guess like a similar core that I think people will like. Like I don't know. I think I prefer like Egyptian stuff to like haunted American suburbs, but because like I think I prefer watching this than Phasmophobia.
It's definitely like quite intriguing what's happening.
Yeah.
The relic. A beautiful relic.
So you take the relic and what? Just shit starts hitting the fan.
I don't know if shit hits the fan in the tutorial though.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Also, that's another thing I wanted to point out. Different ghosts have different powers, and it did something that I've never seen in Phasmo, which I've always thought would be really freaking cool. One of the ghosts, I think we played on like a hard difficulty in a large map just for a prank. One of the things that was really cool is we were talking in game, and one of the things that the ghost could do, because I looked up its powers, one of the things it could do is it could imitate another player. It would turn itself into the player model of another player, and then just start walking towards you as if it was that player. We were like, so I was playing with my friend Katie, and we were like, oh, I was like, okay, I can see you over there, and she's like, that's not me. That's not me. Imposter, kind of
pretty
sussy.
Yeah.
But 4-1's pretty fun. It was quite cheap on sale. It wasn't like crazy cheap. It was like, I think it's like £10 or like £8 it was on sale. And I was like, I kind of want to play like a new Phasmophobia type game because having another game with VR support I can play with my friends is always great, as I always say. So yeah, check this one out if you're a fan of like Phasmophobia or similar games. Definitely fun to play with friends.
Especially love Egyptian stuff.
Oh,
That's
here's non-VR. Immediately you can see like the difference in atmosphere between like
Yeah. It's very just
non-VR
like
and
yeah,
VR.
it's just like you press buttons to interact, not like you do it yourself. Yeah.
Very strange going back to like the non-VR version of games. It's like in VR I pick up a lighter, I turn on the lighter, and then I put it towards my torch and it lights the torch. But then I go to the non-VR version, I'm like, oh, what button do I press to do this? Because it's not as intuitive as it is in VR, sort of thing. Did we get chased around by the like, hello, mummy. Oh, there's a boulder trap that goes off. I was like, I'm gonna get a photo of this guy. Or did I get a photo of him? Oh, there he is. There's a reanimator. I'm just like, let's get a couple of snaps of these guys.
No, no one will ever believe you without a picture to prove it.
A pitch is worth 1,000 words. So a tangerine must be worth 1,000,000.
I would say so, yeah.
I feel like this is me dying because I'm like, I don't really care if I die. I'm just gonna figure out what happens. And this is what I was talking about, like the choice between being helpful or being, hindrance. So you can be a help survivors obtain collectibles, gold plus artifact detection, sight, and then the level changes. I don't understand the levels, but and then there was also the one where you could eliminate players. So here's me as a mummy chasing after my friend.
It's cool though. It's got to like add more difficulty.
I wonder what it's like being a mummy in VR. That's one thing I didn't actually get a chance to test out. That's something really interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting thing as well that I figured out by playing. If you can one thing that really counters the mummies is by, I think we had a DC here. You can count the mummies by kiting them into fire, and that will immediately kill them. Let's move on. Friday the 13th, the game. So, I think a much liked game, but unfortunately there was the IP original holder didn't want them to keep making the game. They didn't want them to make updates for the game, so it pretty much got put on its like last legs by the original rights holders, whereas the developers wanted to keep developing for it. I was going to try and play this with some friends, but I don't think I got around to playing a multiplayer game with them. But I did manage. I did find out. I was like, wait, because I downloaded it. I was like, wait a minute. There's single player missions for this, and they're actually all right.
Okay. So how that works?
Yeah, everyone knows that.
I feel like. Okay.
One thing about like the missions, every time it starts, is like your mother's like, "You must kill them, Jason. You're a good boy, Jason. Mother loves you, Jason." But basically, you have to keep doing these missions, and then you need like at least like 2 skulls to unlock the next mission. So there's a score bonus skull that you get because you get bonus objectives for killing the survivors in specific ways, like killing the survivor with the electric.
I see. So actually, the way like the way you kill them with the environment.
Yeah, and there's a bonus objective for killing that woman with like the in the kitchen by shoving her face into the pans and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you got like incentive to try and get that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so there's one for score. There's one for undetected. So sneaking up on people and then killing them without them seeing you. And then there's a third skull for what's the for killing everyone, having no one survive. So I think if you're going for the XP one, you kind of need to do the bonus objectives. And then so you either need to do all the bonus objectives undetected, or you need to do all the bonus objectives and not get killed, sort of thing. But the thing is, if you get detected, you can't do the bonus kills, sort of thing.
Well, whatever, one detection.
Well, some of them you can like. I think there's a specific special kill with the fireplace where you can drag people to the fireplace and then use the special kill on them. But some of them get locked off if you've been detected. So yeah, I think I played like 3 or 4 like of the single player missions, because basically, in order to unlock the next one, you have to do these missions. Like you have to get at least some of these sort of thing, these objectives, and it was kind of like I was like spam replaying some of them because I couldn't like figure out how to get all the objectives sort of thing. I think I pull him over to the campfire here. I do think like the kills are cool in this single player stuff. My only problem is that
Yes, kill for mother.
you can that goes on constantly as you're like killing people.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You can put traps down. You have special abilities, so there is like like basically like a teleport mode where you like shift forward a bit.
Is that what we saw at the start?
Yeah, there's a sense mode here where I can sense where survivors are. There's a long range teleport where I can look at the map and teleport to a specific place on the map. And then there's a stealth mode where I become really quiet and move like kind of slowly sort of thing, so I can sneak up on people. So that's how your basic abilities work. And I guess that correlates to the multiplayer because I didn't play it because I didn't have enough people at the time to play the multiplayer.
It's really a shame this thing it can't be updated. Like this imagine this with more and more updates. Like, this would be great.
Imagine if the original IP holders had let them update this and then also maybe put Jason a DVD. That would be pretty interesting to see as well.
It is weird, like some people's like how they hold rights. Like, what I don't get what they're getting from this. Like, it's really just like a win-win if they just license it out. I don't really get it.
You can just pick up survivors and then just execute them in your hands. They will like escape if you hold on for them too long. Wriggling away. So one complaint I had about this is you do need to do them over and over again sometimes, but there's a cutscene at the beginning of every single one of them, and it's quite long usually, and it's unskippable.
Oh,
so I had the same cutscene over and over and over again, but they would not let me skip it. So I had to retry there, I think, because I didn't get enough points, as I said, like... No, I think I got enough points, but I only got 1 skull for... because one of them escaped. I didn't kill them all.
Right.
Whoa, did you just hear that?
So you have to watch this cutscene over and over again.
Upstairs, man. How come you don't get loud?
You're really harshing my mellow.
Like older games from like the mid 2000s where like you'd have cutscenes you couldn't skip.
Shit. What's going on? What are you doing?
Just testing it out, honey.
Well, cut it out.
Well, I think like this game, when it released, I think it released in like a really bad state.
Don't be scared.
I think even people like TB were like going against the fact that it released as like a fully priced game and it was still like buggy and was missing stuff. And I think it got to a point where it was a really good game, but then there was the whole legal dispute. And I think there is legitimately even just from playing the single player stuff, I think there is like an interesting game in here, and it's a shame. I'm like, I want to play this with people, but I can't say to them, hey, you should pick up this game. I have to say, hey, you pick up this game, but there's no online servers for it, and
So
there's no
this
updates
on
for it.
sale.
It goes on sale, yeah.
Okay.
You can purchase it, and it goes on sale quite regularly for quite cheap. I think it went on sale for like £2 last time.
Oh, through the door.
This is like where you can murder people just by picking them up.
It's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
Yeah, well, it's a Friday the 13th game. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen the movies, but Jason's quite brutal.
Anyone there?
It's a bit of an 18 sort of
We need
thing.
your help. Jason is killing us.
Yeah, this is really a shame they couldn't keep updating this. Like, I can imagine this just keep going and just
Remember, Jason.
imagine having a skip button on cutscenes.
Yeah, imagine if they could update that into the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can select different Jasons from different films as
Oh,
well,
that's cool.
and there's like specific what's it called? Objectives to complete certain maps as certain Jasons, which I think is quite interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, from what I've seen of people playing the multiplayer, it looks pretty fun as well, especially if you're doing the thing where you like role play on it, like. You have your friends just live their lives in the cabins, and then you come
Yeah,
around and
I
slowly
seem
take
like
them out.
yeah,
sort of thing.
one killer, 3 survivors, right?
I think you can have up to like 8 people. I think it's like
Oh,
usually,
really?
yeah,
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
bigger thing where you have like lots
Oh,
of people
right.
survivors. Yeah.
My Jason. That's my special.
Okay,
I
let's
do
move on.
like her mother.
That's my special boy, Jason.
She's great. She's great.
Let's move on. Gone golfing, guys. It's Halloween. I'm here to talk
I
about.
can't believe you managed to get a spooky golfing game.
I can't believe it exists. Gone Golfing is a first-person golfing survival game.
Like, how is okay? How I want to. I don't understand. Like, how do you make a golfing game? Okay.
It starts off, and you pretty much just go into the golf course and you start playing golf.
And it says, "What's the worst that could happen?"
Yeah. Because it
I mean,
starts
it's
off.
golf. What could happen?
Yeah, it's just a golf. So you start off, and the golf mechanics are really clunky. You have to like press E, and then you have to hold down this button and swing back and
It's
hit
the
it.
Resident Evil 4 of golf games.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like in terms like you have to like hold. You have to stand still to aim.
But I think that's intentional because it gets to a point where you're being chased and you're also like you're like, oh fuck, I need to get this golf ball in the hole. But I'm
Right.
also being chased by this horrible monster. There's genuinely parts in Gone Golfing where I'm like, oh, this is really cool. But I feel like overall, it's like a bad survival horror game and a bad golf game. And together it doesn't make it that much better.
Right, okay.
I feel like this game's for someone, but maybe not for me. Like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of like the survival horror, like run around and be chased by something and hide in lockers, and then run around and push a button and then hide.
Unless you do something interesting, it's really not an interesting mechanic.
I liked it whenever I was playing golf, like just on these golf courses. I think that was some of the best part of the game was being out on the golf course, because there is different parts where
Why is there a fish?
it gets really weird. Like you go through like a portal, and it's just like you're in an area full of like fish, and then
I've got a stupid. You know, like Redland Media, they start like making up their own shit. I think we should have a boomer shooter in Hell golf game. I think next.
Boomer shooter golf. You'd love to see it.
I want it against demons. That's what I want.
So this is where the game starts to get like weird. It's just like you go through a portal and you're like, okay, what the hell is going on? And this is where it turns less into a golf game and more of like a survival horror game, I would say.
So there's no golf in this section, I presume.
There is golf. It's just
Okay.
hidden between like survival horror elements, I would say.
Because so far it seems like there's a golf section and a survival horror section.
You'll see where the golf comes into this.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, it's pretty terrifying.
That's what's chasing you down here. Are you still on bear traps?
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. But then, so every time you get hit, you like start this section again. And then I was like, but I got caught once by this guy. And then I was like, okay, I don't care about this guy anymore. Like I feel like getting caught in horror games like this. It's like the second you get caught, all of the tension's gone. I don't care anymore. It's like
there should be more like things trying to grab you through walls that you can't see and things. Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
basically like the
There
thing
shouldn't
with
be a normal enemy.
the thing with these like survival horror hide and seek games is I'm being chased by one thing, and I don't want to get grabbed by it because I die. But it's like, yeah, but death is just resetting a checkpoint. It just doesn't matter to me. So you see here, there is a golf course here. But in order to get to it, I need to lower this bridge, which means I need to steal a lever. So there's like puzzle element solving that you have to do.
This is like the bad part of survival horror, though. Like, I feel like this isn't complementing golf.
I feel like
I don't know. I
I'll
feel
have
like
it later
there
on.
are ways you can have like a scary enemy that still can catch you and things, but
There is
yeah,
like
it does.
it does get to a point later where you're back on like the golf course. Like I didn't like this indoor section. I think when the more
No.
open section where you were getting chased around and I'm trying to make golf shots, but I'm constantly like thinking, oh damn, this clunky golf, and I'm looking behind me because I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get caught by this monster. I wish I had more footage of like this specific chapter. The game's really short. Like I played the main game and then played a little bit of like I guess the updates. There's like different chapters that are basically like thematic. There's a Christmas one. There's like a dream one, and then there's also guess what, Tony? There's a survival horror fishing game. There's Gone Fishing.
That's what you'd love to see.
Yeah,
Who doesn't? Who loves fishing more than Scorn Retorts?
there it is. The world's first survival horror fishing game. But there is some like interesting stuff in here when it goes to like the dream sequence, and it's like, I guess it's like a dream, but it's like, there's like this giant fish in the water chasing you, and then you go back to the golf course, and there's a golf ball and a fish on legs chasing you, and it gets really weird.
Okay.
And you're just trying to like hide from them, and then in between hiding from them, taking golf shots. There is like interesting stuff in here, but it's just, I don't know. I don't think I liked it at all. Like in terms of the gameplay at all, it's not my sort of thing.
It's just like more of a concept that's funnier saying it than it is in practice.
Yeah, it's just got that like bad survival horror game design where I'm just
Yeah.
walking around. It's like a bad puzzle game disguised as a horror game sort of thing design generally.
That is Amnesia's fault. Like, I think Amnesia does it better than the rest, but it still has these problems of like there are more than one enemy in Amnesia, but and it is like a lot of like go and find this lever, go and find this button and key, solve some puzzles. But I think it does do it much better than everything that came after it.
Yeah, so here's the Gone Golfing Christmas one where you're sort of using a candy cane club and a Red Bull.
What is it with? I don't know what it is, but there's something like you can like make a like deserted Christmas map, and it's more creepy to me for some reason.
There's the golf ball with a Santa hat on. The fish has a red nose, like a Rudolph on it. There's also a dream-like one that's like really interesting, but and I think this was like the original ending to like an original secret ending was just this one, this map you play, because there's multiple endings, but I just got like the simple boring one, and I was like, oh, I'm sort of done with this game, sort of thing. After I played the first playthrough, I was like, oh, I'm kind of done with this. Like, I don't want to play it again, sort of thing. I think it was interesting, cheap, but ultimately not a great overall experience. And yeah, that's Gone Golfing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but kind of expected.
Little Nightmares. Talking about disappointment. I really wanted to like Little Nightmares. I think this game aesthetically looks great.
It does look fantastic.
Do you know what's not great about Little Nightmares?
The puzzles?
Everything else, yes. The
oh,
puzzles.
right. Platform is bad as well, is it?
It's not great, but it's not I think 90% of the puzzles in this game came down to run really fast in one direction. And I don't know, yeah, I felt like playing this was a slog. It's super short, like it's like Inside limbo length. Like I thought, because you know I love like Inside. I think Inside is my favorite one of these sort of dark, atmospheric, creepy puzzle platformer games. I think Inside is fantastic, and I think Little Nightmares does a fantastic job on the atmosphere, and the art design is great. Like I think the the creepy people with arms, the fat chefs that like grotesque, and stuff like that. The art design is really good on this. Some things I hate. Okay, lighting candles. I feel like it was supposed to save your game, and usually you would light your candle around a checkpoint, but they're not actually checkpoints. They're like fake checkpoints because they don't actually save your game. That's another thing. Like, it has an autosave system, and I feel like the autosaves are usually unfair in this game as well. Like, a lot of the time I found that if I got caught, it was like, oh, it's fucking over. I've got to start this entire section again and do this entire bullshit again. I have to, like, run to the right really fast. And it was, like, super clunky, and sometimes I would be running and I wouldn't make it, even though I feel like I should have, and stuff like that.
So yeah, that's for like the game, the clunkier. So what is it just like is it just like the way you interact with stuff that's clunky then? Like it's like slow and awkward to. Oh, okay, already. Okay, okay, I'm starting to see the problem. It does look fantastic though. Like I really do like the look of it.
Yeah, aesthetics. I feel like I saw footage of Little Nightmares of it. This game looks really good, but like.
So I kind of just expected to be like puzzles that where you like have to like run away from like enemies like you couldn't really kill. Like there would like be like a prominent part of the level. Like I guess when I've seen that it's kind of true, but like, yeah, they just seem to just be not quite what I was expecting.
I like the aesthetics, but it felt like I was fighting the camera a lot of the time and like the clunky controls. I liked I think the ending of the game was a lot more interesting as well. Like, I don't know if you want to get into spoilers. I feel like the story is not a strength of this game either. It's pretty confusing and I wouldn't say like open-ended in a good way. It's sort of just confusing, and I had no idea what was happening. I don't know what just you think.
It could be anything. What to spoil?
Yeah. It's a pretty open-ended game.
I don't know how old is this game though.
2017, I think. Which makes me kind of sus, because it's a Japanese company, right? It's like, or I assume it's like a Japanese company, because I know it's Bandai Namco. So I assume the developer's Japanese, but they may not be. It's a company called Tarsia. Let me have a look. Where they're from. I think the Tarsia is a monkey. I'm getting pictures I'm getting photos of monkeys.
A shortcut to get monkey photos, apparently.
They're a Swedish company. Okay, I just assumed Bandai Namco was. Well, it's a Japanese publisher, right? So.
Some legs?
Yeah, that sort of thing. It was like, oh, you got this little child in a raincoat, but you also got a guy who's fucking hung himself. This is, like, aesthetically pretty cool.
No, Joe, there's just some legs hanging down. I don't want to hear about
someone's hanging on from the edge of a rail.
It's like, it's goofy. Like, he's just fallen down like a hole, and he's just, like, I need help being pulled up. Okay, you just jump off the chair by accident. That looks frustrating.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the time it was super clunky. And this game has DLC as well, and there's Little Nightmares 2, but after playing this, I don't want to play any of the DLC or Little Nightmares 2, because I just found this to be...
Well, let's improve the mechanics, the actual gameplay, and
Well,
keep
because
the
after playing this,
aesthetics.
I like read reviews for the DLC and Little Nightmares 2, and I was like, oh, hopefully they've like massively changed stuff for Little Nightmares 2. And from what I read, it was pretty much, no, it's sort of more of the same. And I was like, okay, that sort of made me not interested in playing that now after playing the game. I didn't know for the longest time this is a ladder, so I got really stuck here. This fridge door is a ladder, as you can see as I cut and look up a walkthrough.
I would not have
to figure out
assumed
this
that
is
either.
actually a ladder. Your character jumps up like that. I'm like, wait, this is a ladder? How do I use the ladder? I literally know it's a ladder and I can't even use the ladder. It's like...
No, they should have had... They should have something there to like show... Like they should have like a little rack climb up it. And you're like, oh, well, I climb up it then.
Oh, here's a classic puzzle. Open a door and then run really fast in a direction in order to get through the door in time. I feel like I'm constantly running in this game. It's such bad puzzle design. And then I feel like I got under the door, but it's like, nah, you didn't get under the door by a second, so the door killed you. Yeah, it's super buggy and unforgiving, and it fucking you know what design it reminds me of? It reminds me of Resident Evil 6 design. Little Nightmares has the same gameplay design as Resident Evil 6, where you're just running in a direction for bullshit unfair puzzles. Like, apparently I didn't make that. Like, look at this shit.
Okay. Okay, I can that.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Man of Medan. So if you don't know, this is made by Super Massive Games, a massively popular company for making the PS4 smash hit Until Dawn, which is still, until this day, a PlayStation 4 exclusive.
It's interesting that.
But Until Dawn was like widely acclaimed for its realistic face animations and using real actors, and having like interesting stories where you could save different characters. And then they decided to do this anthology that they would release on PC. And I played the first one. There was a new one that just came out. I think it was Houses of Ashes, the new one, or
yeah, it's something along those lines.
so this is Man of Medan. This is based on a true like myth sort of thing, or like it's based on something in reality. But there's like
aren't all three of them based on something in reality, but like kind of changed and like make it more dramatic.
It's sort of like, I think there was a real ship where a lot of people died, and it started this myth of something weird going on this ship, which is what inspired the Man of Medan. This is just the prologue of the game, sort of. It's sort of just you play as characters who were on the ship before you get to the main characters are introduced, which is kind of interesting.
Like if these like fake art characters, are they?
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. Like I thought these were just going to be the characters I play as, and then you sort of go into video. And I think it's interesting how you can the options you choose in dialogue are different. I don't know if options of dialogue have an effect on the story, but I know for a fact that there are like multiple endings depending on if you save characters or not.
From what I've seen, like there are some decisions that you can like do that will actually like kill a character.
Yes, I have
like,
killed
from dialogue.
I have killed a few characters in this game, let me tell you, Tony.
Okay.
So I played the whole one playthrough of the game. It took me about 4 hours, but I think I just streamed it to some friends on Halloween night, and I gotta say, I really like this game. I think this game's really cool. I like the story. I know Man of Medan didn't get great reviews.
I thought I think all right reviews, but people just said like it wasn't as good as What's it called? I've already forgotten what it's called. You just already said it. Their other game.
Until Dawn.
Yeah. I heard it was alright.
Hmm. I think people complained about like the fact that I do agree when people say like instead of being a like a an atmospheric creepy experience, something like BioShock or Little Nightmares where it's just really fucking creepy all the time, right? This I would say this game definitely jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, which I'm okay with. But this game definitely does have a lot of like loud noise jump scare in your face, loud noise jump scare in your face, which I think some people can maybe like. I didn't mind it. Like, I knew what I was getting into, sort of thing. So there is like slight gameplay mechanics that are also involved in this, but it is
gameplay.
I'd say it's mostly like a animated FMV in a lot of ways. This type of game.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. A quick time FMV.
That you can fail QuickTime events and it will
Yes.
like fuck up your game.
Oh, sometimes it can be a decision though.
Yeah. But I sort of liked the fact that I sort of knew I was getting into it was gonna be like watching a movie on Halloween, which is sort of how I treated it. Like,
yeah.
Also, this game's fucking huge. It's just the way that the characters are animated, their faces and stuff. But this game was like 70 gigabytes or something. I was like, it was fucking I don't know.
Yeah. Looks like I'm the karate.
Skip ahead. You wake up on the boat. Everyone's. This is more gameplay. Keep making sure your heartbeat stays calm.
What if you don't stay calm?
I don't know. Maybe you get shot.
Yeah, from what I've seen of that quick time event, I've only ever seen it like if you fuck that up, you just fail.
Yeah, this is like the fake out intro where you just sort of have a heart attack and die. It's like, what? But I thought I was playing as this character. And then it goes into the intro and there's this dude who's like, I am the badass dude who knows all the stories. Rock music.
Okay.
But I do like
Hitman.
But basically, there's sort of like chapters throughout the game and the curator, he sort of talks about the story. And as you progress through it, he will say stuff like, hey, I can give you a clue about solving the mystery if you want, or you can keep going in blind. So if you're like, oh, I want to try and save more characters, he can be like, give you a hint towards how the story unfolds so you can figure out how to save more characters, or you can keep going in blind sort of thing, which I think is a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
You have like this librarian, like curator character who tells the overarching story, which I think is cool. I took all the clues and I still fucking killed all the characters and didn't figure it out until the end.
Okay.
I don't. Do you want to go into spoilers for Man of Medan or not?
Yeah, but like little spoilers maybe.
Little spoilers. I was going to go into the spoiling the end of the game.
Big spoilers. All right, go on then. I personally don't mind, so
yeah. So we'll have spoilers here. Here's like the modern day characters, where you basically it starts meeting on a boat and they're going for a dive to find an old boat. Interesting. I streamed this for a friend and they said like the choices I made gave like a completely different playthrough for most of the game from what they'd seen of somebody else playing it.
So when I've seen reviews of this, like they said, like different playthroughs did feel completely different.
But basically, you get onto the boat, and some like crazy shit starts happening. Monsters start coming out and like trying to kill you and stuff like that. And it's like, holy shit, what's going on? And the curator's like, maybe this isn't as supernatural as it seems. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I got to a point where one of my characters could confront the monster or jump off, and I jumped off and my character fucking died. I just, like, was dead, and I was like... But it wasn't until the end that I realised that the monsters... Because it's sort of, like, hinted as you play through. The monsters are you. You've been, like... inhaling gas, and the gas is making you see these crazy things. So every time you've been like running away from these monsters and then putting yourself in positions to like kill them or not kill them, there's actually been like a choice to kill the other characters and you haven't known it, sort of thing, which I think was a really interesting thing to do with the story. Now this guy's at everything. This Conrad character, he's because they also used his face for Quantum Break. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
I feel like he's an actor I know but never remember the name of.
Connie, this is Alex.
Hey, what's up, man?
But yeah, I'd recommend Man of Medan, and I'm looking forward to. I have the other Dark Anthology one, Houses or Little Hope. So I was gonna play that maybe next Halloween. Maybe I just play a Dark Pictures game every Halloween and just stream
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing. Like, unless you're feeling it, like having kind of the other time there, it makes thematic sense.
Let's move on to the final game and wrap up this Halloween episode. It's Pumpkin Jack. I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast before, because I think it was one of the first big indie games to pick up both like RTX and ray tracing. Basically, the developer was like, "Hey, I can add ray tracing to my game, and it doesn't like completely destroy performance, and it looks quite cool." So this footage is playing with ray tracing and DLSS on, and I think Pumpkin Jack is quite a good game. I 100%ed it, but to be fair, you get most of the achievements by playing the game. 100%ing is just going back and getting all the collectibles, but it's sort of a 3D platformer sort of collectathon anyway. So
Yeah.
I feel like Pumpkin Jack's a little underrated. I definitely think it's a great little indie 3D platformer.
I've never seen anyone really talk about this game, so
I think it got a lot of hype
I've
when it
seen
came
it.
out, because it came out in like it came out in like 20 like I think it came out Halloween last year.
Was it last year? Was it? Okay.
Yeah, and so these like crow skull things are the collectibles you're trying to find.
Yeah, this is good already. There's like, it reminds me of like a like a.
But
Kind of
it-
slower and
I think like fair is when people are like, it's quite short. Every time the game kept having like different bosses and levels, I thought, oh, it's still going. Like I think that was good that it kept going, sort of thing. But it is like I 100% of the game and I have like 5 hours of gameplay in it, so it is like quite a short game. But I didn't. I think
too short,
those
though.
entire 5 hours, I really enjoyed playing the game. I never got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm not enjoying playing this game. I feel like the good thing about Pumpkin Jack is I never got tired or bored of it. I was just constantly enjoying myself along the entire way, whereas other games might just pad it out and I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much.
yeah. I don't know. I think 5 hours is a respectful amount of time. Like it's definitely short, but like yeah, I think it's fine. That's like a.
I mean, the game, well, it's currently on sale right now.
distance.
Apparently, it's £11 right now on Steam. But it's normally like £25. So I
I
don't.
think it's been on sale since Halloween. I think it just like took. I think it's just been like on sale for like a month length of time for some reason.
Yeah, it's really like it's a really solid experience for the price and the length. It's
I
like
love the sounds, by the way. Like the sound design is good.
like when you look at like 3D platformers, obviously it's not gonna be like GOAT level, like like Spyro Reignited is like the gold standard right now for 3D platformers in current year, and then there's also the gold standard
bigger budget.
There's gold standard. Well, that's what I was gonna say. The gold standard for indie platformers, you have stuff like A Hat in Time, which is like a fucking masterpiece. But I feel like Pumpkin Jack sort of goes, in terms of those two games, sort of goes, a little bit below Hat in Time sort of thing, but still above like most of the other 3D platform. It's sort of the best of the bunch when it comes to, short indie 3D platformers. I think this is a really enjoyable experience if you're okay going in with it being like, hey, it's going to be a little bit short, but I think like the entire time you're going to be having fun. I thought it was really cool.
I like the crow interaction.
Because you see stuff like that
It's
where
got legs.
Because that's a big thing. There's no voice dialogue, because that's like some of the constraints of the game where it's like it feels like
That
it
would
feels
cost
like
extra.
if Pumpkin Jack had a budget, I feel like it could have been
Yeah.
like a really, really good hit.
I guess what we're saying is like go and buy this game so the next game
That's what I was
has a
gonna
bigger
say.
budget.
Like, I look at Pumpkin Jack and I'm like, Pumpkin Jack is really fucking good for its like budget. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
I really want a Pumpkin Jack 2 with like maybe a bigger publisher or like more investment in the game, and I really want to see
Yeah.
like where the game can go, because I really enjoyed Pumpkin Jack 1. So it'd be interesting to see more of this. I do like, there is like collectible stuff where if you get the collectibles you can unlock new outfits, which is nice. That's sort of the replayability, is getting all the collectibles and then unlocking the outfits.
The spooky music is very good.
The atmosphere of this game is great, and it's
Yeah.
Right. I got the lumberjack costume, which I think is probably my favorite
beautiful.
outfit, even though it's like one of the cheapest ones. There's also different weapons, so I'm using the shovel here, but there's also like a sword, and they all have their own special attacks that you can switch between them. So there's a shovel that you start off with, and then you can get the there's a sword, there's a gun you can get, there's like a scythe you can get. It's quite cool.
Okay.
So there is like lots of different, and I feel like the game keeps switching it up as well. There's like rail sections where it reminded me of like rail grinding in Ratchet and Clank, or
Yeah.
like minecart grinding in like Donkey Kong, where you just need to keep jumping over obstacles and stuff like that. Oh, there's these also these little puzzle sections
That's cool.
where you take off your head off your body.
Yeah.
And then you go into these puzzle sections, which keep changing up and evolving. There's a thing. It keeps changing. Like sometimes you'll be like doing a Dance Dance Revolution thing. Sometimes you'll be doing like, match two different gravestones. It does like keep changing up, and there is like cool boss fights. I think like that sort of stuff is a big like plus for the game. I just remembered something and then immediately forgot it. I wanted to mention about Pumpkin Jack. Oh, what was it? It's gonna haunt me forever now, much like Halloween.
No, Halloween only haunts you for 2 weeks. I just watched this again. I kind of wanna play this now.
Yeah,
if it's on sale, I'd pick it up.
It's a great little game to play for the spooky season. Or any time of year, really. You were born in the spooky season. So.
I like spookiness anytime, but especially Halloween. But yeah.
Oh, that's what I want to say. So the story of this game, Pumpkin Jack, basically hell and the people of Earth, I guess, heaven maybe, I don't know. The people who inhabit the Earth have put a great champion onto the Earth in order to fight the hell.
Yeah.
The devil wants you to be his champion to fight the wizard, which is fine and all, because you're Jack, you're the man who managed to betray the devil 3 times. To trick him, so you're his like greatest champion. He'll like free your soul if you help him, sort of thing.
Right.
One thing. So this is one thing I wanted to say before we end. With Pumpkin Jack, you're the champion of hell, fighting to make hell on earth a reality by getting rid of all the humans and the humans warriors. One thing that really confused me was the entire time you're fighting other like undead evil creatures. You're like fighting skeletons and rats and stuff, so I think from like a story perspective it doesn't make a lot of sense, but from like the fact that they probably went into this and said, hey, it's a 3D platformer, we want kids to be able to play this. I think it's going to be okay for the censorship board if we have Pumpkin Jack beating up skeletons instead of killing humans. That's sort of how I see it. Like, you do eventually fight some, like, knights and stuff like that, but it's mostly killing other undead creatures, which seems kind of backwards to me when you're working for the devil to make hell on earth sort of thing. But I
Well,
understand.
unless undead
from, like,
creatures are just mindless things that aren't like for heaven or hell or anything.
don't know, but
They're like neutral enemies.
I think like it makes sense when I think about the business perspective, but it is a story thing that is a little bit strange.
It's a little bit. I can forgive that though. Like, it doesn't matter too much.
But yeah, Pumpkin Jack. I think out of all the games I played, I think Pumpkin Jack was the best like spooky themed little platformer thing I played, and then Man of Medan I think was like the horror thing I enjoyed the most.
We're saying this game has everything apart from the story and length.
I think the story. No, I think the story overall is fine.
Yeah.
But I think there is some like stuff that could be tuned up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has everything apart from, you know, I would like to see more stuff put into the story, voice acting. But there is still like these cool cinematic
look at
sections.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. It reminds me of a mid-2000s game. It really does.
Yeah, it does. And I feel like that's one of the best ways to describe Pumpkin Jack, because it feels like we've gone back to those mid-2000 games in terms
not
of
the
like,
bad ones,
the
good ones everyone remembers.
Some of the design choices as well we've gone back to as well, which is cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is great. I think I might actually, if it's still on sale,
yeah, it's on sale for 48 hours of the time of recording. October 31st, of course.
Yeah.
Not November 15th. But yeah, that's the end of Tangerine. We've been waffling on for about an hour I've been waffling on for an hour about Halloween
just over
games.
an hour.
I feel like, when we were doing the Demo Fest, I was talking about, like 10 demos in a video for like 40 minutes, and I'm waffling on about like 6 games for like an hour. But I guess there's just more.
We didn't set our timers this time, so
no, I would not allow it. Okay, that is the end of Tangerine Halloween, and we will see you next time for more spooky games and more games in general. Goodbye.
Bye.